Hello everyone, and welcome to Heart of Scrolls. And today we're gonna revisit the topic of the current patch. We talked about it before when it hit the test server, but now some time has passed. Some ideas has been thrown out there, and there's a whole new world, at least on some scale. And today's guest here, we have our own Antirad, the prodigy and the prophet
Yes.
of order. Say hello.
Hello.
And a new guy, which is actually we have two, but a new guy from Badger Guild is our gladiator, SS gladiator. Do you say gladiator?
No, SS. SS.
SS gladiator.
Hi.
Yeah. And as a special guest, we have Mopek from the Rats and Bunnies, correct?
Yes.
That's right. You done well lately, I must say. In the whole guild as a whole, you really stepped up and been taking out guys and shit.
Did he
I haven't really been doing much with the guild, but it's mainly the rest of the guys doing it. I can't take any credit to that, but
Well, you're
Okay.
sharing for them, and they can feel the warmth coming from you. It gives them strength, and makes
yes.
them able to push on. All right, so today as I said, we're gonna talk about the patch that they hit live and some things that happened there. And as a start off, thought we would bring up maybe one of the perhaps biggest changes, or maybe not big, but a big one, and that is the Wildling. She has become quite an active girl at the moment, and she likes to get bloody. So, maybe Gladiator, are you familiar with this? How do you feel about it?
with the Wildling?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
you use her.
yeah, I use it.
Well,
Yeah, in both late game and aggro growth. She's very good now, and even so with the magic armor, she's even better. You can use her as a wall. I've seen some people use Oak Blood, and Oak Blood Rat King combo is very common. I've seen. You can in one turn you can buffer from 0 to 3 damage. So, and she's one cooldown for health, so she's very good with enchantments also. That's why I really like her. Now that she's
Yeah, for those who don't know, the change that was made to her is that from the 4 cost she's now 3 cost. And the whole magic armor introduction which exists, for example, in the Oak Blood, it makes her not take damage when she has her damage increased from the adjacent units that gets her. This is why some people has their eye on her. And yeah, so I also think this, but if you put her in, what do you favor above it? Like, what do you take out?
like and I put out 3 enchantments because I usually run aggro. So my choice was owls. I used them, but in my late game I put down 3 enchantments. That was Druidic power. So she fits more now because you have a 2 cooldown brave, no 2 cost brave, 3 cost wildling, and 4 cost wetland ranger. So it's like you can have a curve with 1 count creature if you also play owl. Yeah. So you put take your high spells. Like I don't run Quake anymore because I think it's useless now with the nerf. But
Well,
I
at
don't
least
know.
it's not free taxing. It's just 2.
yeah,
should
didn't
only be
like-
taxing 1. That's what I think, Derek.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
I
Possibly.
To
didn't-
be honest, like I understand why they're putting taxing 2, because if you compare it to Damning Curse, which only has taxing 1, it does affect the whole board over 1 unit.
I'm not even sure if Damning Curse needed taxing. I never felt Damning Curse was that big of an issue.
Yeah, I didn't find it an issue because it affected your own board. You already had a disadvantage here.
Yeah, it's like it had two drawbacks. The Damning Curse. Number one, and the most primarily one you have to learn to play around, is the damage to your own units. But then it only really matters in certain matchup. But still matters is that it only works on creatures. So it was pretty useless against structure energy.
Yeah, I agree.
It was.
Which is one thought I had. Like, you got there's a scroll in Decay called Unbind. I had a thought of having Unbind work on both sides of the board, but make it a 4 cost, like Damning Curse.
So like structure removal, just
Yes.
for. Yeah, that's a good idea. I think
Because
might-
no one uses it right now, and
no, because
It
there's
does-
nothing to use it on, to be honest. So,
yeah,
Yeah. Maybe a road solution is the way to go with it. That's what they
Possibly.
did with the road.
I think Mojang might have a problem with it though, because they stated in the past that they don't really want structure removal in Decay. At least I think I heard them say that. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I think they're more in the cursed presence approach when it comes to that. They want to curse stuff. All that. By the way, cursed presence, if you didn't notice, did get a buff that it's now curse 2 on creatures
Is it?
instead of 1, and I believe it's curse 4 on structures instead of 2.
I still won't play it.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, double the number. They're gonna be like, look. It
Look
has
how much curse do we
it
need
has
to have on
curse
this.
9. It has curse 9 now, people. Play it. People are like. Okay.
Evelyn, please,
Evelyn-
has Curse 9. You don't need Curse Presence to have
Yeah.
Curse 9.
Okay, curse 9 people would probably play it, but at the moment,
I'm not
I'm
totally
saying
convinced.
the issue is when it comes to the creatures, it feels like there's other better ways to give curse 2, and when it comes to the curse 4 on structures, that is good. But how are you gonna damage the structures that is behind what you hit? That is my question. It's like you cannot poison it. You do not have frost scales or something in a decay deck. So
Maybe make it
I'm not sure how you're gonna deal damage to these structures that is behind that blocker you hit to activate the curse presence.
But if you use the card, you should make a deck that suits it. So maybe you put in Frostgale.
But are we supposed to make decks that suits the cards we use?
Yeah, because if you're playing like a guy plays structured energy, you can counter him. So it's not that the idea with card games that you like perhaps me, I almost ultimately play growth. So if an opponent knows that he's gonna be facing me, which happens because it's not a big player pool. So
Alright.
you can see on your front list who you're gonna face, and then you can pick a deck that will counter them.
So
Yeah,
what?
that's where the tournament skill gets a lot better, because that's where the tournament factor compared to ranked. Ranked, each scroll has to be vital against every kind of deck, not
Yeah.
just
Mm.
one kind.
But
For a
if you
scroll to get played, it has to have multi-uses.
But so what in this patch has gotten you excited? Like what is? Oh, I wanna try this now. We can start with you, Antared.
Well, I want to still come back to the Wildling change, because it's
Yeah.
probably one of the biggest things that did change. Previously, it wasn't really used because it was just too weak. Magic Armor introduces some new possibilities. The most obvious one is Oak Blood, and I have to say it's quite It's quite effective. I didn't try it myself, but I faced against it, and to be honest, I was a little surprised how much Oak Blood just on its own does for you on the board, because that 6 HP for the unit is just such a heavy blocker. Just instantly, he puts a unit on the board, he puts the Oak Blood on it, and the Wildling suddenly has 10 HP. And okay, like, Order is good at dealing damage, but dealing 10 damage and then getting to the other stuff that is maybe hidden behind him, behind the Wildling, is gonna be problematic. So I think it's quite good. I did, however, try another combo with Wildling. I was running an enchantment growth deck, which was splashing order cards like New Orders, Blessing of Haste, RBP, and I also added Pilgrim's Feet. So that was mostly for the Wildling, and I guess for the Mystic too. And it's also has been proven to work pretty well, at least from the few matches I've got into it. So it's definitely a good scroll to have. I think it's good that we have another solid 3-drop for growth, and it opens up new possibilities.
I approve of Pilgrim's Feet. I'm not gonna go
Yes, I
too
know you do.
in depth into that, but I approve you using it. However, I have to pose the question to stick more on the growth and getting board presence. Like, wouldn't Druid Burial Ground work perhaps better than Pilgrim's Feet?
Potentially.
But then you
Would it?
cannot stack 3 units creature that attacks in the same road because it blocks.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah, it's
like
in the way.
you lose damage.
Yeah, I guess you would have
Structure
to stick
growth
around.
does not work. I've tried it.
Yeah, I guess like you have, when you put a structure down, it limits your movement, and also you need to kind of keep in touch with the burial ground to get the healing effect.
Weren't you a gladiator who had fair success with Skyforn? Like, shouldn't that block as well?
Yeah, only in the early game. In the late game, when you have like, because in the first turn you have you use it as a 3-drop to place in front, but it usually gets destroyed as it counts down, because the units is like, I must attack it. I don't know why, but
Well, it's like Clock Library.
Yeah.
You have to attack it.
yeah, it's only worse than Clock Library, and but after
That's like it.
after 8 growth, you put it in the behind and you just draw scrolls for days with Rat King and the Sister of the Fox and all the spamming of Ragged Wolf and Brother. So yeah, I usually place it in front as a block and then place it behind so it doesn't get destroyed. And I also place it on the not in the 3 middles but on the edges, because I think the middle is more important to control. So if I have a weak edge, it doesn't matter that much for me.
Well, fair enough. Mopic, how do you feel about Wildling? Is that something that you've been running around with?
I haven't had a chance to try it yet.
Well, maybe,
But on the topic of Oak Blood, I think that's overpowered now. Because if you compare it to plate armor,
it's
plate armor,
comparing to plate armor. That's an
Yes.
interesting comparison. Like,
Yes.
look, plate armor has potential now. I'm not gonna go against plate armor now, but at least before it's a little bit like saying, well, I would say that Crown of Strength is too strong at the moment compared to Resonant Helm.
yeah, I know. It's very bad,
But also,
very bad comparison. I know.
if you think about the growth, you want to spam creature, and if you use 4 growth on an enchantment, you pretty much cannot get out.
Yeah, you can't play a unit then.
Yeah, so you're sacrificing like tempo for a unit. Like, it could be a Brother of the Wolf that you don't play. You know?
Yeah.
I personally don't. I don't think it is. I don't think it is too strong.
think-
I have to. Because the reason I say that, I have to face it more. I haven't faced it enough, but I get the initial. I'm not gonna say all the things order can do because that's just order. If I'm gonna think just in general, what happened to Ant right now? Oh well.
I'm here. It's my
If
camera.
I'm gonna think in general, I feel that the thing about Oakblood and Wildling is that it is great, but it's not I will not call it overpowered because it needs build up. You need to build up. So you have time to find response to it. I'm not sure if there is good enough responses to it, but there should be. I feel there should be ways to respond to it, and she won't massacre you in 2 turns. She's becoming dangerous in like the 3rd turn or something. That is when she's scary.
Yeah.
I think that the most, if it becomes too strong, is mostly because of the combo of Oakblood and Wildling, possibly giving her too much health. Because it's not that she deals that much damage early on; it's just that it can actually just tank so much damage. That may become problematic. I'm not really convinced that it is problematic at this point, but if it actually becomes that, then I would just maybe consider lowering the HP buff on the Oakblood.
Maybe maybe if that
I say if, yeah.
if that is the case, my gut tells me that combo is fine because it's still a combo and it's not a immediate effect combo.
Yes,
So
and Oakblood is quite expensive for enchantment, so yeah.
Yeah, that is true.
Also,
because 5 does make it unplayable.
Also, otherwise, when it comes to Oakblood, I don't see that many top-notch synergies with it. The only thing that probably can work well is perhaps if you use it like on a. I'm not sure if that's worth it, but you could use it on an Earthborn Mystic, and she stops taking damage when she draws.
You can also use it on. If you
Inner
use
power.
it on the wetter, I don't know.
Oh yeah, that bloody.
Yeah. You can draw. You can ramp forever.
Now that is something I'm like, oh god. But at least the Oakblood is 4 cost, so you can't just rush it out.
But I experimented with the healing enchantment of growth that gives you one magic armor.
Vital?
Yeah, it's 1 cost.
Well, there's actually 2. There's Leeching Ring and the Elemental.
The Elemental, because it counters poison, so you can use it in multiple locations, and it's pretty good if you can get the waiter out early and the ramp. And it also can be used in other scenarios. But it's not a good enough wall as Oakblood is, because if I would play Oakblood, I would place it on the front unit, whatever it is, even if it's not a Wildling, because you're afraid of the order combo with focus. So you would always place it in the front, right?
Yeah. Okay. So besides that, I think we covered the Wildling quite fine. Is there something else that has piqued your interest in all of this? In this whole patch, is there something else you're tweaking around with? We can go with the Mopic. Have you been tweaking around something? Is there something you're testing?
Magic armor with poison damage.
All right.
That pissed me off when my brain lice got nerfed by that.
So I take it you're the poison damage.
I splashed brain lice in because 3 turns you could draw your scroll back, and then like, how am I supposed to kill this breaker now? I'm like, it's not dying.
Well, what are they using on the breaker? Is it the Elemental or?
Yeah, I think it was Vitality or yeah.
Well, to comfort you, I actually don't think that it's gonna be a. It's something you're gonna see sometimes, but it's probably not gonna be a too common thing.
Because I think poison isn't really magic damage, kind of. Like, magic damage is spells.
I think the whole wording is misleading. It said magic armor, but as many points out, like, how is this magic? Well, it's not magic. What is actually magic in Scrolls? It's like, there's very little magic in Scrolls. So,
yeah, I want to know the definition of what magic means, like, because I thought poison, like, on that one challenge there, what's that trial that they have? Shit. That units come in with, shit, where is it? Poison immunity, and, like, when poison, like, magic armor shouldn't be considered poison. Like, I don't know, it bugs me about poison.
Yeah, I think they need to either change it so it's more about protecting you against spells and such, if it's gonna be some kind of magic or whatever, or they should rename maybe the trait from magic armor to, like, I don't know, resistance as it was originally named or whatever. Yeah. If they want to be non-combat damage, if it's gonna be non-combat damage, it kind of needs a different word than magic armor, I feel, because it really confused many at the moment.
Yeah.
But okay, so you feel that magic armor, it's killing poison, or maybe not killing. That's over excessive, but
it nerfs the poison there a bit, because, like, I thought magic armor, yeah, it protects you against burn and spark. Like, that's what I was assuming it would be. Like, why would it block poison? Because, yeah, poison can be considered magic, but I don't know.
Maybe not to insta-lose to the poison decay.
Yeah.
I think, personally, poison decks, I haven't seen them too much, so maybe they are having one hell of a pain at the moment, but I'm not sure that's actually because of magic armor, because my personal thought about that is, well, you have several ways to increase the damage. People use miasma or curse to increase the damage, and they have several poison spells, and you don't have that many magic armor spells in your deck. You don't run 6 of them, you run 3 normally. So there's not that many ways to really negate it. You can't use a ancestral totem that gives a magic armor to everyone. That's like that's not a thing in the game at the moment.
It's just that since magic armor came out, you cannot be like, I can splash poison in to like a normal decay deck. You can't splash infectious blight now. It's if you're gonna go full poison, you have to go full poison now, basically, instead of, like, you know how some decks would have infectious blight in it just as their.
Well, I can feel the pain there. At the same time, I don't think that was always the most optimal decks, but people are allowed to play.
Some decks, they just have one form of poison, like. That's how most decay decks have. Like, they either have Brain Lice or Infectious Blight. Just
that I can get behind.
Yeah, you have either or. You have one of them.
I don't.
And then Magic Armor just completely bleh.
But don't you run Curse Monger?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but the Curse Monger probably won't time in. She won't trigger. You won't be able to use her in time to get the effect from the Brain Lice, but at least the Brain Lice, it still lingers there. As soon as you kill it, you get your drop.
I was thinking more about the Infectious Blight.
Yeah, Infectious Blight you can try to get going again, but you actually need to. Well, it depends what you use. But if you face, for example, Pilgrim's Feet, you actually need to trigger it. You need to curse it 2 times, because the Pilgrim's Feet can take care of a 2 curse, as it will negate 1 damage and heal 2, so it's like 3 damage that it negates. So you actually need to curse 2 times on it. But alright, so I'm gonna say that what I've been tinkering around with, at least, is this, because it goes well with the whole magic armor thing. I've been tinkering around quite a lot when it comes to my order enchantment deck. And Pilgrim's Feet, I'm not sure why it goes so well with Magic Armor. Like, Pilgrim's Feet has always been there. But with Magic Armor, it's sort of more appealing. I think it is because of my goddamn fear for Infectious Blight. I'm like, I need to be able to deal with Infectious Blight somehow. And Pilgrim's Feet sort of do that now. So, yay! Great!
And Thunder
well,
Surge.
sort of, but like with Miasma Wells and Curse, the K players still can break through that because
Yeah, but you can stall enough time to, like, punch yourself to victory before it goes to shit.
hopefully, yeah, hopefully,
You just got to use 3 Pilgrim's Feet.
yes.
All
Exactly.
the heal. But for,
Maximum heal.
or you use a roasted bean potion and heal 4 or something. I don't know.
Oh my god. Yeah, roasted bean potion pother. Heal 6.
Yeah, and Captain.
And so
Yeah, and
Run
Captain boost.
circles around the field.
that's
All
what
3 captains,
Yeah.
3 roasted beans, all 3
Oak
pothers
blood.
in 1 turn.
Oak Blood would be
18
good. there.
heal in 1 turn.
Look, I really felt bad for a Grove player. It was a Grove because I used this on Grove because Grove has no real removal for it. And I felt bad for him when I roasted Bean Fleetness a captain. It's like that is difficult to deal with. She's a bit all over the place. So with that, I'm not entirely sure why it's become viable, but I'm liking where this is heading because this is some new water territory with the whole enchantment. If I can make the enchantment deck work for order here. What the Pilgrim really heals is the Eternal Sword that gives 1 more health, which people want to remove, but that is a topic for another day. And then we have the Crown of Strength I use, which also gives health. And with the Grove, they use now Oak Blood to give health to the Wildling. So we are going a little bit to the more health meta. I like that. That is a meta we have never had before, really.
The healthy meta.
Yeah, it's health and healing. We're gonna show
The
Yeah.
healers.
like all the heal and health. That's the meta we're going to.
That's damning curse.
Can you understand if this actually become the main meta? People just buff up their units and heal. Oh my god, how those
I'd actually
matches,
think
those
that
matches will probably
this would
become
make
boring
people
at
mad.
some point.
Yeah,
massive health and healing all over the place. But goddamn,
Stallfest. Yeah.
I would play.
I would put in pushback in my decks. Then I'm like, fuck
Yeah.
this shit. I gotta push back your unit. Get this monstrosity away from me.
Yeah, I think healing is nice as a side effect, but I wouldn't call it like it's going to be a meta anytime soon because Pilgrim's Feet is available because it has this double effect. It has both healing and it has magic armor. So then, yes, it could be useful. But overall, healing spells or healing scrolls are not that great at this moment.
It feels like, is this perhaps the approach enchantments need? And what I mean with that is the enchantments I can come up to mind that is really used. They often have more than one effect. There are some exceptions, like Stag Heart, that has its single one-purpose thing. But for the most part, the enchantments that is used, they do have some kind of secondary effects than just one thing. They do several things, and that is often what makes them become useful. So is that perhaps what is needed for enchantment? It doesn't have to be magic armor to everything, but maybe they all need some kind of secondary effects. What do you feel about that?
I think growth enchantments or enchantment in general.
I think that was their main goal with this last patch, to include secondary effects of, like, the
Yeah,
replenish.
They could replenish. Yeah.
Yeah, that was their main goal here.
I'm not sure if I like it, to be honest, because it does kind of disturb the original theme of the scroll. Like first time they did it, was with RBP. They just put
That's a joke. Sorry, but oh my
they
god.
they added counter reduction to RBP, and now they are adding just more stuff to the enchantments. So possibly this could work when you talk about pure balance, but it kind of messes up the flavor of some of the scrolls, and I'm not sure. Like
Yeah,
some of the
I think when they give a secondary effect, it should stick to the theme. The Roasted Bean Potion is
Yeah.
the perfect example of both times it has got the secondary effect. It has made no sense. First time it was when it comes into effect, it heals your unit with two. It's like what? And and now second time it's like it decreases your countdown. No, give movement thing. Like make the second effect happen when you move with the unit. Do something with the move with unit. I won't say heal because that's Pilgrim's Feet. But make it like maybe decrease your attack temporary turn, or maybe when you move you can probably figure something out. Maybe it's something with countdown, but not in the way it counts or whatever. I have to think more,
I
but
guess so.
while I do feel that something like magic armor on like oak blood and such, it sort of fit the theme because it's about defensive. It's about defensiveness, so it kind of fits in. It's same with
Yeah.
what they did with plate armor. Plate armor, instead of just give armor, it also gives health. It fits in, I would say. It's all defensive there. So
That fits in with the theme of the scroll.
yeah, so
That-
as long as it does that, I'm okay.
That is true, but like some other effects that I don't know, appurtenance that got replenished. I don't know, like why this scroll actually just got replenished and not some other scroll.
But
I feel like they just chose a batch of enchantments that that were basically weak, and then tried buffing them by various effects, and they like I'm not sure how balance wise this will turn out, but I'm not totally sold on this method of balancing the enchantments.
well, what
be honest.
scrolls do you think should have been given replenish? What replenish for me is like it's a totally different kind of
Yeah,
theme.
that
Like
is true.
what fits with it?
I actually feel like there should be new scrolls designed for just the replenish theme.
The only
Because-
the only scrolls I know that sort of fits with replenish theme, it's ramp scrolls, but they don't need replenish.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, exactly.
so that's like the only one. So I'm sort of okay with what got replenished, but I'm kind of like I'm not sure how we're gonna give replenish in the future. Like what is the direction with that? What deserves to have replenished? What is
Yeah,
a qualified scrolls for replenish? I'm not sure what the rule for that is.
Yeah, because the problem right now is that, like, I don't know, I want to splash something from energy, right? And for example, I don't know, let's say Iron Whip, right? And
Soldier
I
Bond
want-
Iron Whip.
yeah, for example, and I want the scroll, but to get there, I just look at the replenished scrolls that I got in my factions, which is probably like 1 or 2 scrolls, and they don't really need to fit with my theme of the deck. They don't really need to combo with anything in my deck. I just need it for the replenish effect. So I feel like that this is a kind of a weak strategy to make replenish work, because I want scrolls that have their own use in the deck, so that I don't just play them for the replenish effect, right? And in this this moment, I don't feel like this is the case.
Yeah,
they feel like they're just like a scroll that you just play just because it gives you that effect. You're not playing it for its original.
Perhaps. I think when I don't remember where I heard it, but it was from the developers. If it was on like IRC or Reddit or maybe their forum, whatever, I'm pretty sure I heard is that what they sort of wanted with replenish is to help the when you go multicolor, you lose tempo at the start because you had to ramp up in several colors. So they wanted to replenish to help with tempo early on. I feel if that is the case, I feel it's not really succeeding with that, because what has replenished now, in that case, what needs replenish is sort of creatures, because having replenish on spells or enchantments, I don't know. Actually, do any spell have replenish? I don't think so. It's only enchantments. Having on enchantments, that sort of mean you need to use it on something, and on what has it, you need to combo it with something, and we're talking about combo it with a spell or another enchantment. So you're using early on, because we are talking about early on here, where they are losing tempo. You're using early on two non-creature cards to do what in the early game? It's not exactly helping with the tempo, I feel,
Yeah.
for multicolor. Yeah.
First of all, with most decks, like the first thing you want to do is just put some units on the board, and likely you will not really get that much tempo advantage by playing them. So I agree, but I actually haven't seen too many replenish combos being played. I haven't tried any myself, so maybe you guys have seen something cool done with it.
The only thing I've done myself was the whole vengeance wheel, which is countdown when it takes damage, and soldier bond, which is countdown to friendly units when it takes damage. It goes well with desperation and iron whip, so I tried that, and it's working. Is it worth it? Well, not in a competitive level, but it's working. So, like you can use like Vengeance Veil on your Ducal Skirmisher and then Desperation. That works. He's gonna attack and do havoc that turn. But the thing is, it's all situational. So, but that's what I've tried around with. I heard some people tried with Apertunance, with that whole more beast thing. And have you done it, Gladiator? It sounds like you want to talk, because I want to hear about that. I don't really see how that works out well.
I tried it on the test server. I haven't tried live, but Pestilence and Apertures and Harvester. So
yeah, that's a strong combo there.
Yeah,
I saw it with Wildling earlier.
So I tried that, and I had I had trouble to getting to the resources that I wanted I used also the one cost the decay structure. What was it called? That scavenger construct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I used like the ramp scrolls from each faction and Pestilence and Apertures on Harvester, so they couldn't kill it if it wasn't another decay player. And it worked when it got going, but when it didn't, it got crushed. The wild didn't help me that much in the early game, but it helped me like combo things in the late game. So it was a really fun deck to try. I also played against a guy who used this is not used not Appearance but Pestis and on Harvester and the Temple Theft. It was also cool, but it has nothing with the topic. But I think that may be a thing with combo. Yeah.
Yeah. Someone wants to fill something in there before I gonna bring something else up with to replenish when it comes to the whole Aperturnance thing, because I don't have too much to comment on it. I'm sorry, but that's not my area. I haven't done much with.
Yeah, I guess I can talk about it a bit, because I haven't tried any combos myself, but like Gladiator said before, there might be a problem with just reliability of these combos, because you have to hit the perfect timing. You both have to have the right moment to use a combo, the right scroll you want to you were splashing from the other faction, and you need to have this whole replenish scroll too in your hand. So that's a lot of factors that you have to account for, and there's only a few scrolls that have replenish. So it's not like you can have half of your deck that has replenish on them on it. So
Can you imagine if half the deck had replenish?
yeah, that would be pretty crazy. It would change the game.
It's almost like having half the deck with cantrips.
Yeah, it would kind of, yeah.
You can only get up to a quarter right now, but it might be possible someday.
I have done a deck which had a shit ton of cantrip and draw, so I can say this is not really a topic, but I'm gonna give the short answer that it works for its purpose. But the thing is, all these cards you have in hand, how are you gonna win with them? They are more cantrips. It's like you're not really winning.
Yeah.
All right.
All I can do is draw scrolls. I can't do nothing
I
else.
more scrolls. Like I need to win also.
50
alright.
kabonks.
All right, back to topic then.
50
Oh, you
kabonks
win
with
with decimation.
replenish.
Yeah,
50
but
kabonks with replenish would
decimation
be
is not
pretty
a
good.
cantrip.
I know, but that's the only scroll you use as.
But all right, but what I feel with replenish is that I wonder if there's gonna come some 2-cost card that is so good that people won't replenish just for that. The one that is sort of on my mind, which has not really seen enough light for what it's actually worth, is Morbid Curiosity at the moment. It's like it's 2-cost. It's like, dude, if I had a good replenish, I would splash Morbid Curiosity and put it on my Wings Cleaver or whatever. Just
Holy crap, that's actually a great idea.
Get tons of cards. Like, yeah, give me that. So, but I'm not sure. But I'm just feeling, is that perhaps something that may happen, that we get some kind of two cost a card that is so good that people get replenished just to have that in the deck? I suppose it's a possibility.
Honestly, we just need to see someone play it. That's all it will take.
All right. Someone else want to say something more about replenish? Else, there are some more hot topics about this whole patch that we may want to go through in the last minutes here. We only have 50 minutes left after all. Then it's all over. I take that as a no. Or what were you going to say, Gladiator?
No, I got nothing more. I don't think the scrolls that I got it is good enough to play, and I haven't found enough cost scrolls that I want to splash in.
Well, to not entirely leave the topic, then I will say that. Look, I get what you're also saying, but if replenish cards were good enough to play on their own, like for example, let's say Bloody Focus had replenished, that would be so bloody overpowered. Like
Yes.
No, so it's sort of what has replenished needs to be kind of tuned down. So I'm not totally against that they are not that good on their own. At the moment, maybe they are too bad. But
you need more beast cards to make the beast deck, because to make it more viable, you need better beasts in both early game growth, because you only have the Ragged Wolf, and the Boghound isn't not that good. So I think with more cards, maybe we will see some decks.
I think one we touched this earlier here on the podcast, but let's revisit the whole topic about taxing and go a bit more in depth on it. I will just give my own thought about it. That I feel some cards here, primarily I feel with the Damning Curse, didn't deserve taxing, and Quake. Did it need 2 taxing? Well, it definitely didn't need 3 taxing. Thank God that wasn't made. But some is about should taxing even be in the game? Like what is good and bad with it? My personal thought about taxing is that it can be good on cards that are meant to only be limited played in a game. I think one of the best things to possibly tax is ramp cards. I think ramp cards should be very sufficient, but then they over time become insufficient because of taxing. Maybe that will not work at all, but that's like an idea, like
Right.
how they have in Return to Nature now. And I'm not sure if Quake needed taxing, maybe. But that's like my take on it. I think taxing has a place on cards that are meant to have limited play in the game. That serves a role to push the deck forward, and then not necessarily to be seen too much again. But all right, what are you people's thoughts when it comes to taxing?
No,
Your saying on Return to Nature basically made the point on it. The taxing deserved on that scroll because it actually made sense on that scroll. Unlike damning. It made sense on that scroll. Why did they make the Vigor Extraction a 3 cost?
Well, the same reason they made the Dark Strike a 4 cost. They were like, this is a ramp scroll, so it needs to cost more. I'm not sure.
Because I never saw anyone play it unless they really like it was.
I like to hear Gladiators and Anti-Red's thoughts about taxing, but at least we can touch on when it comes to the ramp scrolls here. I think my issue with the ramp scrolls is more that it's not their cost that is the issue. It's more that their primary focus should be on the ramp, and some of the cards like the Dark Strike and the what did we say? Vigor Extraction. Vigor Extraction was pretty fine. I'm not sure why they do that, but Dark Strike is one, and Return to Nature is sort of one. Is that they are meant to be ramp, and at the moment they are a bit suffering the roasted bean syndrome. They are often used as removals. They are not really supposed to be removal cards. They are a removal card, but I don't agree with that. I think they should be ramp cards, and that they should have a side effects that push it up to be something else than just a ramp card, but not necessarily removal in that way. So that's my feeling when it comes to the ramp cards. I think it was, I think increasing the cost. It also goes against the whole philosophy with what they did with the replenish. Yeah, with the replenish, like we did replenish to help the tempo in the early game, and then you increase the cost for some of the ramp scrolls, and that goes a bit against. But look, this is not what they have said to me. This is like my impressions and rumors that I got. Like, prepare for 90% of the information out of my mouth is false. Okay, do not quote me on what Mojang is thinking and so on. I'm just giving my own impression as good as you people. Alright, so, well, that's my thought when it came to the ramp. Dayton Andrew, why do you think they increased the cost for ramp then?
Well, they just wanted to. They heard a lot of complaints about the removal decks, basically. That's what I think, and then they just chose to up the cost of the ramp scrolls, and I do agree that this was kind of a countering what they said about giving more tempo to the multi-resource decks, and I think there's actually quite a weakness in the current design of the multi-resource ramp, because now you are still kind of dependent on these few scrolls that you have. You have basically like 1 or 2 scrolls that you can ramp into the other resource, right? So you can't really choose. You just have to use what it's what is available, and I fear that they kind of in this situation they kind of overnerfed some of it because sure, like the multi-resource decks were annoying, the ones that were focused on removal, and they received a lot of complaints about it, but right now they have been nerfed beyond playable, and you also at the same time you have also the same situation with other multi-resource decks. I feel like a lot of them will become just not playable at this moment, right? The only multi-resource decks that I see being played right now is basically just some splashing, some minor splashing for some cards, and not like true multi-resource decks. I might be wrong because this is still pretty early after the patch, but I feel this is a weakness of the whole system.
Yeah. Do you have something to add, Gladiator?
I think I agree with you, and I think it would be interesting to give the ramp cards a drawback and not make it unplayable, because I played DK Energy a deck some time ago, and I felt like it took me way beyond the point that I needed them, and they were so good, the energy and decay ramp, that I could use them even in the late game. And I think if they find like a sort of balancing that would make them not so used in the late game, it would be fine. Nothing more.
All right. So, reverting to the taxing then. As we are closing in on the ending, overall, do you feel taxing should be in the game, and what should it be used on then, is the question. We can start with you, Mopic, because you were about to finish it.
I was going to say something along the lines with your Dark Strike and Energy Siphon, like how you were saying they're useful like that. Instead of increasing the cost, they should have just added taxing 1 to them instead, because it would have been still balanced, because you're encouraging, you want to use it for early game to get you up there, and you want to use it less when you get later in.
Yeah.
Ideally.
And Gladiator, how do you feel about taxing? Should it be, and should it be on what?
Only on ramp, because I felt like the decay growth, it was not the problem that they triple quaked me. It was the problem that they could, in the same turn, that they could get the ramp up the resources that much. I felt was the problem, not the quake in itself, but because if you try to use it in a growth deck to maybe play around the structure energy, if it becomes big again, it will be fucked in the very, very late game.
Because someone triple quaked you?
Yeah.
Dude, triple quake. It has happened to me also.
I've only ever seen double quake. I'm like, what?
No, triple.
Dude, you didn't triple
they
quake.
happen.
Mopic, you didn't triple quake me, but I'm pretty sure. So like
I've double quaked you before.
But I'm pretty sure you in one contest you did quake, frostgale, quake, and you were about to do frostgale again. That's not far-fetched from a triple quake.
I only do double quake. I always only ramped to 12. I never went past 12.
Right.
That's 2 cards.
And I missed that deck because it's unplayable.
Make it playable. Force it. Push it.
Makes me cry. I need Crimson Bolt 2 again.
Oh, well, that's not happening. Then definitely I would use Replenish. If Crimson Bolt was 2, I would use Replenish, man.
That would be exciting if it was.
Antirad, And you, taxing, feeling, should it be on what? Or should it cease to
Well-
exist?
I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it. This is just one part that they could choose to balance the scrolls, and it's not terrible. I think that the taxing on Quake, for example, is kind of okay. It's still like playable at 5 resources. I've played some late game growth deck, and I didn't play it too much, but I still made. I still think that the Quakes in that deck were pretty good. So it's not like it's nerfed into oblivion right now. But to be honest, I'm not a big fan of just adding another mechanic into the game just to balance some scroll, because like nothing happens when you play the Quake, for example, for a second time. Nothing happens that didn't happen for the first time. Like the scroll doesn't get more powerful the second time you play it. So why should it cost more? So I'm not really sure if that's the way. If people feel that things are being like getting double quaked is a problem, then maybe this is actually the problem with the effect itself, not that it is just too cheap to cast. So yeah, so that's basically what I think about it.
Alright, we don't have much time now, so we're gonna do some ending thoughts, and I'm not sure if any one of us is actually doing some kind of streams or have Twitter and so on. If you have it, you can say now, like Gladiator, do you have any stream, Twitter, whatever?
Nope.
They wish to share. Mopic, you're doing any of that?
I had, but it lagged my computer so much I gave up on it.
I have plans, but I haven't got it to work yet. I need better internet and such. Android, you stream something you did
No, the
before
computer's not
sometimes.
good enough. The internet's good enough, but the computer's not good enough.
Yeah,
It wants to
but,
kill
for me, it's
itself.
the other way around. Okay, Android, I know you streamed and such before.
No, I didn't. I didn't stream. I basically just
A
play
long time ago,
scrolls.
I think you did.
No,
Maybe
maybe I just joined into someone's stream. That
Well,
could be
okay,
possible.
maybe. All right, so then in that case, closing thoughts, real short about the patch. My closing thought is, I actually like everything they introduced. There's actually nothing I don't like. It's just that I fear, as always, they introduce all this stuff, then we rarely see it again, and that would be a bit of a shame, because I want to see replenish and stuff on some other stuff. And I hope taxing will not be used as we found a scroll that is too good, let's give it a taxing. That is not a good approach.
It's not a good solution.
Okay. Gladiator, final thoughts on this patch and the future?
I like the patch. I like that the nerfed order and buffed growth, so that's good.
Alright. And Mopic? Yeah.
I need more practice with the patch to figure out what I hate about it. Still, but
Why do you need to figure out what to hate about it?
Just
need
say
to
you hate
figure out
everything.
What you like about it. You're having the wrong attitude here. Look, I haven't found yet what I hate. There must be something I hate here. Give me some more time. Alright. Red, your final thoughts about
The patch did steer some new things, so I'm happy about that. We are getting some new scrolls still to play with. So, for example, like we see Wildling getting played. Overall, I think that they could have maybe chosen some other targets for some abilities, like replenish. And yeah, maybe we'll see some good decks being made around the replenish idea.
I found a scroll that could use replenish.
Well,
80.
You got to
80.
share it to the world on Reddit then, because the time is over. Bye, people.
Aww.
See ya another time. Bye
Goodbye.
bye.
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 It was fun. Thank you for coming, Mopic.